One being maximizing your nutrition and your nutrients, and two being maximizing your nerve supply. When you look out into the world, do you see people getting healthier or sicker? Sicker. And a lot of what we do in healthcare, whether it's a medical doctor, a dentist, a chiropractor, a lot of what we do revolves around dealing with people when? Once they're sick or before they get sick?
Once they're sick.
And it's backwards, isn't it? And think about it. I treated my wife like garbage for 15 years, and I come home at the end of the day, and the bags are packed and divorce papers on the counter. If I give her a rose, is that going to fix anything? I've tried, it doesn't. And it's absolutely nothing. In fact, the rose gets dumped on, and you know how that goes. But that's exactly what we're doing with our health, isn't it? Whether it's a chiropractic adjustment or it's a pill, whatever it is, 90% of what we do is reactionary. So today, for those of you that are patients, those of you that are guests, it doesn't really matter. Today's about flipping that around and becoming proactive and aggressive with our life. And I just want to give you some motivation for this, because this is a study that came out of the Journal of the American Medical Association recently. Maybe you've heard of that journal. Okay, so the most respected medical journal in the world, what they found is that if they got rid of medicine today, if we got rid of the practice of medicine, that means not only the type of medicine you go get pills for cholesterol or whatever, but even the life-saving stuff. Like, I'm in a car wreck and I slice an artery, and if I don't go to the emergency room, I'm going to die. Get rid of that as well. What they found, when they compared the number of lives that were saved in medicine compared to the number of people who are killed by medicine, if they got rid of the practice of medicine today, there'd be a net 3% gain of humanity. You guess what that means?
What does that mean?
That means, thanks for asking. That means that 3% more people would be alive instantly if they didn't have the practice of medicine. So that means that you throw out the people whose lives would be saved by medicine, there'd still be more people living because more people are killed than are saved. So think about this from the perspective of, let's say, a war, for example. When we send people off to war, we're typically sacrificing the few people who die, the soldiers, to save the many, correct?
Yeah.
So in our healthcare system, it's the opposite. We're sacrificing the many to save the few. You see the problem there. And so what we're going to show you today, what Dr. Joel is going to get into, is advancing and maximizing nutrition so we can prevent some of these issues. And I'm going to get into essential number 2 here in a minute, which deals with nerve supply and some of the things we do with the spinal technologies in the office.
Okay, so let's get into it. Of course, to drive the point home, he was saying that these rates are getting better. Everybody agrees. Let's think of heart disease, better or worse?
Worse.
Getting better or worse? Heart disease, okay. So cancer getting better or worse?
Worse.
How about multiple sclerosis?
Worse.
How about Parkinson's?
Worse.
How about depression?
Worse.
How about fibromyalgia?
Worse.
And we can go, you see the point? We can go on and on and on. Everything's getting worse and worse. One of the factors that is contributing to that is the foods that we eat. Does that make sense to you guys? Everybody can kind of see that. The more fast food that we eat, the more heart disease, the more margarine that we put into the body, the more inflammation and high blood pressure and things of that nature. So go ahead, we're going to go over what we believe is that there's not just one diet that is right for absolutely everybody. But, that being said, there are basic principles that everybody can adhere to, every man, woman, and child, that can adhere to that will build health and wellness. And what we're cooking for you tonight, not we, but what we are cooking for you tonight, follow these principles directly. Okay? And the 3 things that we want to avoid are refined sugars, fats, and toxins. If there's simple changes you can make, these are them, and you would notice a massive difference in literally just weeks. 4, 6, or 8 weeks of changing these things that we'll get into, and you'll notice massive change in your body. So let's get into sugar. Okay? The average American today consumes how much sugar? 1 5-pound bag of sugar. You guys know that? Every week. Every single week. Now, where do you think the sources of sugar come from? You guys know the 5-pound white sugar bag? One of those every single week. Right? So where are the sources of sugar? Where do we get the sugar from? Soft drinks, where else?
Coffee.
Bread, yes. What was that?
Coffee.
Coffee, yes. And with the sugar, you put your sugar in your coffee.
Cereal.
Cereals. Okay, so the most common ones are not the Twinkies or the chocolate bars. The most common source of sugar are in breads, pastas, and rice. refined breads, pastas, and rice, within 4 seconds of that touching your tongue, it turns into sugar. It turns into sugar. You see what I'm saying? Now, the reason that is because there's usually a whole grain that we consume, and that takes more time for it to turn into sugar. But when we take out